Hey guys, and welcome back to the most inconsistent channel on YouTube. Today, we will be talking about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 2, because we are back for another after show. And technically, it's still after the show, just 5 days after. So, today, as always, I'm joined by Will. Say
Yep.
hello, Will.
Hello.
And we are both running on about 40% efficiency. So, let's just get on with it. What do you think of this episode, Will?
I really enjoyed it. Like all the action set pieces were cool, and then we actually got to see them meet. Yeah.
Yes, we did. We did. So that was cool to actually see the two of them together. I feel like if there was maybe 7 episodes, they should have released the first two together
Yeah,
because
they
the first
felt
one was
like
very slow going.
they felt very different. So
Like I got a lot of friends who were like, "Oh yeah, I didn't watch the first week. I just kind of didn't have time or didn't get around to it." But then, now I watched both of them together, and I was like, "Well, that's to me, that's the best way to do it for at least the first 2 episodes."
yeah, it's more
Um,
introductory than anything else.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, this show's a lot more like a film than One Division. One Division was very episodic. You could kind of get away with watching one week to the next. But this one lends its hand a little bit more towards binging, I think.
mm-hmm. And all the episodes are only like an hour long anyway. So 40 minutes ish.
True, very true. I mean, I'm glad they're releasing them week to week. It's just, I feel like this one, you could basically watch this one like a 5 hour movie or something because
Yeah.
like they're what like 40 minutes each, some 50 minutes each. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it lends its hand more to that kind of style. Um, so this episode, we finally get to see them meet, as you say, and I think it's really cool the way they just jump straight into it with Bucky just being
He
there
just
to
walks
greet.
up to him. He just
Yeah,
appears. He's like, "Yo, it's me."
just out of thin air. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh hey, by the way, I'm here
Shouldn't have
now."
given up the shield.
I mean, yeah, that. I think Bucky in this episode is just phenomenal. I mean,
Oh,
to be honest, he was really good in the last one, but it's good. It's good to kind of see him. I don't know him push Sam for the decision he made. It was cool to see because obviously Sam has his reasons for giving up the shield, and Bucky has his reasons for wanting Sam to take it.
yeah. Like Bucky says, he's like, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me, and that's
Mm.
like, ooh,
Oh, that line, man. This is so good for me. Like to see. Like I kind of get it. I mean, even addressed it in last week's episode. It's like, oh yeah, Bucky just goes from one fight to the next. But it's good to see Bucky be more than just the long, greasy-haired, silent, starey, I kill people for a living dude. It's good to see him be more than that and give him a bit of emotional range and see a bit more of his personality and his emotional depth.
mm-hmm. I think that is a very good point because character development, and they can't just keep having him like the same.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, the guy's finally got a trim, so at least that's
Yeah,
something. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the nature of this show, right? Like I think, or any of these Marvel shows really is to spend more time with these characters that they've kind of been sidelined in the past. Because obviously in the past it's been, oh yeah, the big three: Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. And then you got other people like Hulk, and it's nice to see characters like Vision and Scarlet Witch and Falcon and Winter Soldier just get a bit more exploration.
yeah. The side characters are now becoming the main ones, which is cool going forward. Since I mean, they're splitting up the MCU into a lot more like teams and stuff. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of them again anyway.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That'd be cool. I mean, I think I was saying about it a few weeks ago. I don't know if it was in a video or not, but I was saying like the MCU, as you say, is clearly splitting up into other teams, and it would be cool to see like the Avengers be more than just one team with one movie every 3 or 4 years. Like it'd be nice to see these characters in different factions of the Avengers. So these guys could be like the new Avengers or something, and and then you could have like a main Avengers team, which is like the whole brand is itself. So yeah, without going too off topic, I think that's a good point that you make there.
Yeah. So what do you think about Mr. Fake Captain America in this episode?
Yes,
Mr.
the
John
man from
Walker,
Up.
the man from Up.
I love that meme. I think he's really good. I get really annoyed when I go on like Instagram or Twitter and I just see all these like hundreds of posts. It's like, not my Captain America. It's like, yeah, that's the point.
That is the point.
That's the literal point.
Although
You're not
that
supposed to like this
that
guy.
is good though, because that's how they want you to feel. So they've
I
clearly done
suppose.
it well.
Yeah, I suppose.
And
I mean, I like John Walker as a character. Like, obviously, he is going to turn into U.S. agent and be a bit of a dick. But as he currently stands, apart from like the last time we see him in this episode, he seems like a decent guy who's just trying to do the right thing.
yeah, I mean, he's clearly a super soldier, right? Clearly at
I
this
don't
point.
think he is, you know.
Yeah, but you see when he throws that shield, I don't think a normal person could do that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I don't know, man.
Or
Maybe.
or he's just juiced up. So you know how what's his name in the comics? The guy who's in the episode we spoke about him like a minute ago. Bradley, what the son, the
Oh
grandson.
yes, Eli Bradley. Yeah,
Eli
yeah.
Bradley's like juiced up. He's when he becomes whatever character he does, he's not actually like a super soldier or anything. He's just kind of juiced up. So
That's an
maybe that's what
interesting
this
point.
guy's doing. And then I don't know, by like the end, they
I
end up
feel like
meeting somehow, and he copies him, and that's how he becomes his character.
yeah, true, true. I mean, I feel like either the flag smashers or uh Walker are using like that kind of juice that will somehow fall into the hands of Eli. I feel like that's got to connect. Now that you bring that up, I feel like that's somehow got to connect. Like it will somehow fall into his hands. And then there'll be the whole controversy when like the Young Avengers find out or something. They're like, "Oh, but this is the same stuff the Flag Smashers or U.S. Agent used."
Or
Yeah,
whatever the guy's name is. I can't remember. The dude the dude that is like after the Flag Smashers,
Power Broker.
Power Broker.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. That is very true. I feel like I don't know. I feel like now though, I don't know if he has got powers. I can't tell because he kind of got his ass whooped, and I feel like if he had any sort of powers, you'd be able to stand a little bit more of a chance with the flag smashes. I feel like I feel like the way it's going to go is he's got no powers now, and then when they're taking down the flag smashes and he loses the shield or he he just gets his ass whooped or something like that, he's going to go to the power broker and the power broker is going to be like, yo, dude, I can give you power. I can make you strong. I can make you Captain America. And he's gonna be like, okay. And he's gonna do it, and it's gonna drive him mad. It's gonna bring out that part of him, like how like the German soldier was saying from Captain America. It's like, oh yeah, you're a good man, so it brings out the goodness in you. But Red Skull's a bad dude, so it brings out the badness in him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just gonna bring out the asshole in him.
basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's the direction it's gonna go, and then maybe he'll join like the Thunderbolts or something. I mean, I'll never stop wishing for the Thunderbolts, and I feel like it's coming. But yeah,
But you know what the dumbest thing that I've seen people moaning about is that he uses a gun. Like, what the
Captain
fuck?
America used a gun. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, it was during the
many
war, but
times.
still.
Many times. And it's not like, well, I mean, what the fuck is he meant to do? If he's not exactly like a super soldier, then, I mean, what's he meant to use? If he punches them, he'd probably break his own fist.
To be fair, yeah,
So, I mean, who cares if he uses a gun? Like, some people are
that
just
is true.
too fucking over the top with some of this shit. Like, gatekeeping.
Yeah, legit. I like him as a character though. I think he's cool, especially that opening scene with like when he was just talking to his is it his girlfriend,
I
his
don't know.
wife or
I
something.
don't know.
Then he comes out to that banging tune,
From
that old
Captain
Star
America,
Spangled Man.
yeah, from the
Yeah,
first Avenger.
that is a bop.
That is a
I
bop.
love that. I love that. I was jamming out to that, man. I was like, yes, I love this.
It was so good. I love that.
So transitioning over to his sidekick, Battlestar. Um, but I think Battlestar, I don't know too much about it. I should have perhaps done a bit more research, but I believe Battlestar was an alias that Bucky went by during the war. I think I could be wrong, but I think that's what sets Bucky off when he's like, "Oh, who are you? I'm Battlestar," and he's like, "Nah, I'm out.
Oh no.
I'm out. This is too much for me." So Battlestar is another one who gets powers by the Power Broker, along with U.S. Agent and the Joaquin guy from last week's episode. So do you think they kind of go in it together and then they become, super soldiers together, and then
Probably.
they become the bad guys, or do you think it's just U.S. Agent that becomes the bad guy?
No, I think that Battlestar have more depth to him, and he'll do it, but he's not a bad person. I'm not gonna think so. Like you said earlier about the good and like the bad coming out of you, I think that they'll have like a really interesting dynamic where he'll be like the good guy, and then
Yeah,
they'll he'll end up joining Bucky and Sam at the end when. Well, it depends if he's even like the main villain of like the series, because I mean, there's a lot of indicators that he's not, right?
there is and there isn't. Yeah, this is to me is the sort of most confusing and head scratching thing about it. It's who is the villain? What is the direction? Because obviously we got all these different components. We've got U.S. Agent, who is clearly going to become U.S. Agent in this season because of the Marvel Legends leaks. Um, then there's the Flag Smashers, and then there's obviously Carly Morgenthau, the main Flag Smasher, and then you've got the Power Broker. Or Power Brokers, I think they said. Maybe they're
Maybe
like
there's
a
more.
gang of
Yeah.
their own. So that to me is the biggest sort of mustache twiddler of the entire
Uh,
of
uh,
the entire show.
it'll work out in the end, I'm sure.
It'll unfold wonderfully, I'd imagine. I mean, we'll talk about that later. I'll bring that up later. But um, Falcon in this episode, we talked about Bucky, we talked about US Agent, we talked about Battlestar. Not Bucky, Falcon. Falcon. There's a lot more. We get to see a lot more of his feelings towards why he didn't take up the shield in subtle ways that he doesn't explicitly say, and it's a lot to do with race. I'd
Yeah,
imagine. Yeah, I mean that's what it's heavily suggesting by everything else around Sam in this episode. From actually, we'll talk about this because this was a really, really important and really good scene. From the scene where we meet Isaiah Bradley and his grandson Eli. And for those of you who don't know, Isaiah was sort of the second Captain America after Steve went into the ice, and there was a lot more legacy there to the shield, as he says in the trailers. There's the legacy of the shield is complicated. Because he was one of like 300 African American soldiers experimented on, and I think most of them, or if not all of them, died, and he was a survivor. And in the context of the show, he's sent to take down the Winter Soldier, but in the comics, he kind of breaks free and he becomes the new Captain America, which is seen as treason, and he's locked up for life, but gets out after 17 years in the comics. Whereas in the show, he gets out after 30, which I'd say is a pretty bum deal compared to the comics,
I
and
bet
even
you he's
that's
regretting
great.
his life in the MCU now.
Yes, definitely. There's definitely a lot of hatred in that character
Yeah,
for those in high places who kept him locked up and experimented on him and took blood samples over the years. So I have a suspicion that it's just come to me now when I'm mentioning the whole blood sample thing, that those who locked him up could have some sort of connection to the power brokers because he had the super soldier serum in him. So maybe they were stealing his blood, and maybe the flag smashers juice is kind of a result of Isaiah.
Hey,
maybe.
what if Isaiah like suits up again? I mean, he's an old man, but that'd be pretty fun, you know?
Oh, it would, and a phenomenal actor. I can't remember his name for the life of me. I think it's Carl Lumley. So that would be really cool to see. But even if not that, which I don't think will happen, if not that, then I'm really hoping for some sort of prequel series, maybe. I mean, I was hoping for a flashback. When he was talking about it, I was hoping for like a voiceover while he was talking over the flashback of him and Bucky. That would have been sick.
I would have been sick, and we'd have seen him as like 1950s and 60s Winter Soldier. So
Oh, that would have been so cool, man. I would have loved to have seen that. I just want to see him rip off the arm, even if it's just like really vague flashbacks, like just like cutting and stuff like that, just here and there. I just want to see it. I just want to see a little bit of something. Oh, that would have been so cool. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty heavy scene. It's a pretty heavy scene, especially with like the way he reacts and the way Sam reacts to him reacting. Like he was about to say, he was saying like Isaiah, but then he's like, "Nah, get out, man." I think that was a really really fucking powerful scene, man. That was
yeah,
really good. And then a lot of things that people didn't notice, that Eli was there, his grandson, who becomes the Young Avenger Patriot.
that's
Uh,
it, Patriot. That's the one.
yeah, which is awesome. Like we're slowly getting the Young Avengers. We've had Cassie since Ant-Man 1. We've had Wiccan and Speed now from WandaVision. We have Haley Steinfeld coming as Kate
Kate
Bishop
Bishop, yeah.
later this year. We have Eli. I mean, it's all coming together. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they made Miss Marvel a Young Avenger instead of a champion. Um, yeah, the team has come together, and I couldn't be more excited. I think it's going to be really sick.
It will be. It's interesting though because now a lot of people are like picking up on that and learning about the Young Avengers, which is cool as well. Because I mean, 2 years ago they probably didn't know what the MCU was. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. And plus, like with the Young Avengers comes so many different avenues, and plus Kang is also
Yes,
on his way. So
he's appearing.
oh, it's all coming together. If you want to know more about the Young Avengers, we have a long ass video that we made a few months back. Check it out. Cheeky plug. Check it out. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's long, but you'll learn stuff. Even if you watch it in like two parts or whatever, you'll learn some stuff if you feel like you need to. But yeah. Anyway, back to Falcon Winter Soldier. After that little sequence inside the house, we then get to see probably the most powerful scene, and the scene that is kind of like, I know it hasn't just started happening like this past year. It's been around for a long long time, but like that we get to see the sort of police and the way they act towards Sam being a person of color. And it's funny because this was all kind of shot before the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I believe, or at least written before. I would
It probably
assume.
was written, yeah.
Um, so although obviously it happened, this has been going on a long time before the whole movement, so it makes sense for it to be in there. I think it's just so great that now during this whole thing, we get to have a scene like that kind of explores that within the confines of the MCU, showing that there is a lot of flaws to that world. It's not just gods and big green monsters. It's like, yeah, this is like the real world too. There are people with these problems, even Avengers.
Yeah.
And yeah, that scene was sick. I mean, it's not good, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
good
gut
scene.
wrenching because it's
Yeah,
like it's super like relevant and I mean it's like crazy that it happens to Sam of all people in the MCU.
yeah. Like, how do you not recognize him,
I know
man?
that's like that seems to be like he's not the first person in this series either to not recognize him.
That is true.
The bank guy.
The probably maybe kind of sort of racist bank guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, that is true. That is very true. Oh, poor Sam, man. He's
No one
getting
but
no. Put some respect on his name.
that kid knows him though, and then
Black Falcon.
And then there's
That was a cool moment. Just showing like a bit of bants.
hmm
That was good. Great banter.
Oh no.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, of all people though, they kind of flipped it, and Bucky got arrested though. That was
Yeah.
kind of mad.
But then he, like 2 minutes later, they're having a therapy session, which is like my favorite scene in this whole episode, where they just have a staring contest instead for no reason.
Yeah, that was so good. That was so good. I mean, you get like a hint towards it in like the start of the episode when they're in the plane,
Yeah.
and they're just like,
Hmm.
I'm looking at you, man. Yeah, that was a good scene. I've heard a lot of people say that was their favorite scene of the show so far, and I tend to agree. That was sick. That was really sick. To see kind of like them just the sheer hatred between the two of them. That was really funny. And then obviously, as you brought up earlier, that line from Bucky was to me, that got me. That was like, oh man, this guy. I want to give him a hug.
Give him a hug, Sebastian
Oh,
Stan.
give him a big metal arm hug. Oh, yeah, that was pretty heavy. That was pretty heavy. But the fact that they're just kind of like they're just doing it because they're just together because of Steve. But I feel like by the end of the show, it's going to be like we're together because we are Captain America and Bucky. You know,
Yeah.
so that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. And then
That goes
that leads us. Oh, sorry.
that goes along with some of like the interactions between John Walker as well, when he's like, "I'm just trying my best to be the best Captain America I can, and it would help if I had Captain America's wingmen with me or whatever."
Oh yeah, that. Oh no.
He put
I
his
couldn't
foot
tell
wrong
whether it
there.
was the. I couldn't tell whether it was the fact that he called him a wingman or sidekick, or whether the fact that wingman is just a terrible pun that pissed him off so much.
No, I think it's just that. I think it's just the fact that he just wants them to help him become Captain America. Like, I think that's what they took from it. So
Yeah, like it's not the fact that he wants Sam because Sam is a good man and he's an ally. He wants Sam because, oh, if I have the Falcon by my side, then the public will love me even more.
yeah,
You know, it's that kind of thing.
yeah,
He's a
definitely.
douche, which definitely comes into play in like the last moments of like the last scene of this episode, where once again we get that kind of evoking that kind of imagery of the of the cops in relation to colored people, because obviously you've got Sam and Bucky walking out and then you just hear the siren and just looking at like the reaction as they turn around, and then obviously you see the douche just leaning on the car like, hey guys, it's me again.
Yeah,
And they're just like, oh, this fucking guy again, man. Again, get out of
again.
here, man. uh
That's
yeah,
literally
that
how
was
we feel when we fight Taskmaster over and over again in Marvel's Avengers.
yeah. Oh,
Like
this
just that
fucking guy.
moment when you see him on
And
the
he becomes like 3 foot tall.
yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that game. Gotta love it. But yeah, that is kind of the moment where you first kind of see him and his kind of not so good side when he's like, oh, you better stay out my way. It's like, okay, I see you. I see your true colors now. I see your true colors.
Yeah, but the problem is, of course, they're not going to stay out of his way because he's pretty useless at this point. Like he all he has is his shield.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I want to bring that back to a moment when they're sitting in the car or the trailer or whatever. I think it was like an army
Yeah,
kind of like trailer or something, and they were like, he was like, "Oh yeah, pretty sure you guys were getting your asses kicked till I got there.
he
What
got
did
his
you
ass
do?
kicked. That's all he
You
did.
didn't do anything."
Like he like threw his shield at like one person and then got his ass beat to death. So like,
Yeah,
what did he do?
he didn't do anything. He's shit. Not my Captain America.
Ruining the MCU, never watching this show ever again.
Not my Steve.
Not my Steve. Bro, I swear there is probably people out there thinking that he's Steve Rogers. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, he could have been if the audition had gone well for him like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty wild. So
Well, I mean, they got
that's
him back,
interesting.
so it's all
They did get him back, and I'm sure he's better at acting now than he was then.
yeah.
If the audition didn't go very
I'm
well,
sure
so
he's not. This isn't the
that's cool.
last time we're going to see him in this series either.
Oh, absolutely not. He'll be back in the MCU, hopefully in the Thunderbolts. If not, just something else like a season 2 or whatever. Um, maybe season 2. I feel like this is the show that this more so than WandaVision lends itself to multiple seasons. This could go on for like 5 seasons or whatever.
Yeah.
This could go on for like 7 seasons if they really wanted to. Like this show works.
It
I mean,
feels
they
more
probably have to
closer.
retitle it.
Yeah, it feels more closer to like Daredevil, like the Netflix shows, than WandaVision did.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, especially the outro. Like the outro definitely feels like a Netflix show outro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talking about
So
outros and Zemo, he's back.
he is back. Big man helmet Zemo.
He's in cell 2187, of course.
Oh, is he actually?
Yeah, I love that number.
That's so cool. Yeah.
And if you didn't know why that is, Mr. People in the watching the video, that's the cell that Princess Leia's in the first Star Wars film, and also
Yeah.
Finn's like stormtrooper number in the
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
films.
True. That's cool. That is so cool. To be honest, I didn't really didn't really think about that until you brought it up. That's cool. That's cool. It's a cool Easter egg.
I
So
swear down,
yeah.
if they open his cell and he's just doing like the Princess Leia pose, and now I'm just gonna cry.
Aren't you a little short to be a Captain America? Oh
no.
man. So yeah, Zemo is back. I'd imagine because he knows how to get to the power broker or the flag smashes. I can't remember the reason. I think it's just like, oh, we need to stop them. Well, I know a guy. So I'd imagine he's gonna be like, well, to do this, we need to go to Madripoor, which I still don't know what relevance that place plays, unless it's just like, oh, we're going to Madripoor. It could be any country, but we picked Madripoor for the Easter.
Well. You see, Elijah Bradley in the comics uses a mutant growth hormone to like boost his strength, and so maybe this is the first inklings of the mutants in the MCU, and
I mean,
the power broker is using like some like enhanced version mixed with the dude his granddad's blood to
that would
like
be interesting.
create like this ultra super soldier serum, but it's like temporary still, and he doesn't
That is
realize it.
interesting. Yeah, that's you bring up a good point there.
TikTok,
I mean,
get on it right now.
get on the TikTok. Marvel TikTok.
I have found something.
They're gonna
in
eat this up.
Avengers.
They're gonna eat this up. Will just
Yeah.
put Mephisto in the end as well.
Oh, of course. You see, Captain. He. What's his name? John Walker wears red. That means he's Mephisto.
That's true.
He's
And
also
the
the
power
governor.
broker, we haven't seen him yet, and that means his name is Ralph Boner, and also known as Mephisto.
Yes, that's him. And
That's him.
Senor Scratchy is Doctor
Wolverine.
Strange. Wolverine. That's it.
He's Wolverine. God playing to the mutants. He's played by Hugh Jackman. He's
Hugh
just a rabbit voiced by
Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman.
That's him.
From the hit film Night at the Museum 3, where he
absolutely,
plays Wolverine.
From that film, yes. Only that film. That's all he's been in. It's very small.
Just a quick little scene in that. He's just an extra, really.
Yeah, that's true. He's not really a main X-Man. No, that's true.
So, talking about where you want this series to go, would you be happy if they like teased like mutants a little bit in the next episode or whenever they go to Madripoor?
I'd be happy if they teased it. I'd be happy, but like I feel like it's not necessarily the place to be like, Wolverine. Oh, here is Wolverine. Oh, look at him. You know,
I mean, they could have like they could have like Easter eggs and like I don't know, maybe he like mentioned like in the background or something. It's like some like Weapon X type Easter egg.
I mean, the thing is right. That is true. But the thing is right. As the X-Men are so vast in terms of the characters and how many there are that I don't even think the truest Marvel fans can name you every mutant. So just put a few of them in,
Random
and
ones that you won't
just like a few
realize
random like D-listers that no one will notice, but they're in there.
until you Google them.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, oh, cool, that was the first mutant in the MCU. That's cool. Like that I would be down with. Just like a little subtle. Oh, here's this character that like 99% of you won't know. Throw him in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because the I think it's the director. I don't know his name. He said that there's a character that shows up in episode 5 that he would love to see team up with Thor. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's Storm because lightning."
It could
I
literally
mean,
be anyone.
it could literally
That
be
could just be
anyone.
US agent. I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean, that makes no sense.
it could legit be like it could be anyone. It could be anyone. It could be like Rocket Raccoon's left toe for all I know. It could be literally anything, and he's just like, "Oh, this would be cool to team up with Thor." So I mean, who knows?
Who
Who really
knows?
knows? Storm is plausible. Maybe she's like over in Madripoor for some reason.
But that's like too big of an X-Men character, I think, to just drop like now.
Yeah, and plus it's 3 episodes away, so
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is interesting because in 4 weeks time, like basically on Friday we'll be halfway through the show, and I think that's mad.
That is like, and then it's a while until the next series, isn't it? Like we got the Bad Batch for a month.
Yeah, we got the Bad Batch, which is really cool. Looking forward to that. But yeah, it is going to be a long while. I'm kind of bummed that I have to wait so long for the MCU content, but after waiting a year, I'm all right with waiting a month. You know.
Yeah, I mean it is Loki next, and that's gonna be a very meaty series. So
That is true. It's going to be hella meaty. Lots of meat all over the place. Steak, lamb, all we could wish for. So yeah, it's gonna be. Oh, I can't wait to get into those after shows that we'll hopefully put up on a
yes.
Friday.
Yeah.
Which hopefully we'll be doing over the next few weeks of Falcon and Winter Soldier. But we don't
Well,
know.
they're
We'll try.
back to their like normal release time for us because in the UK, like when America went into like their daylight savings thing a few weeks ago, there was like an hour. It came out an hour earlier in the UK, but we've also decided, oh no, we're gonna go an hour forward as well. So it's back to our like normal time.
Which is good because I don't really fancy getting up at 6:30 on a Friday.
Yeah. True.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
True.
So yeah, but as we're saying, we'll be back with that next week. But I think that's everything for this episode that we
I
can
believe
think of.
so. I believe so. There's still like a few like Easter eggs in the credits, like General Ross is mentioned, Thaddeus Ross.
Very true, very true. And you get a few other things here and there, which I can't remember. But not that it matters because we don't have the viewership to care. So,
Exactly.
woo!
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe if you're here, which you're not. Great. But yeah, we'll be back next week with that. But until then, I've been Brandon.
I've been Will.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye bye. It was Mephisto.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw here today, then maybe consider subscribing to catch our other content as and when it releases.